Hello and welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're going to talk about mono red dragons. Zirilan of the Claw from Mirage does not get, I'll say, any EDH love. I have never, beyond this deck here that I have, I've never seen another deck with him. Probably with good reason. Now, it does force you into mono red dragons, and if you use his ability, your dragons that you get are one-shotters. Because you spend the 3 mana, yeah, you get to swing with them that turn, and they just exile themselves. But it's fun for a mono red dragon thing. Now, where do we start here? Since we are going to be putting dragons into play, we might as well be doing some damage with them with the Warstorm Surge. I'm using Warstorm Surge over Pandemonium for obvious reasons. I want the ability, not my opponents. And we might as well have them not be blocked by one creature. Crucible Fire was kind of like the first card I thought of for the deck. Dragon Tempest is very flavorful because, you know, I think every single one of our dragons have flying. Oh, and they're all dragons. So, and we are probably going to cast some of them. So the Dragon Speaker Shaman here is the only non-dragon in the deck. Because he's not bad. Granite Grip on, our general is typically not gonna win with commander damage, but I guess it could happen. And this is one of those cards that could make that happen. By force for artifact removal. Now, all of these are roughly the same card. Cave In, Volcanic Fallout, Molten Disaster, and Earthquake. All do things to creatures without flying and players. That's our versions of Wrath that do not hit our creatures. Now, Pyroclasm doesn't really care, but I don't think beyond the little shaman guy, it's not going to hurt any of ours. Now, our Dragon Tutor that we got, thank you, Sarkin. The Sulphurous Blast and the Magma Wake are pretty much more cards along those same lines as far as not hurting flyers. Now, Fatal Frenzy, I like Fatal Frenzy. The last line doesn't really matter because if you've used Zirin's ability, you can actually here for that last line, it helps because you get to sack it. You get to stack your triggers and sack it before the exile thing. So just in case you randomly have something, you know, whatever. Scred, I'm using Scred mainly because I've got the snow-covered mountains and I have a full Scred. And why not? Because when the hell else am I going to use a Scred? Because you got to play mono red in order to make it work. The problem is Snow-Covered Mountains, this card right here, made Snow-Covered Mountains the highest priced snow-covered land, which is weird. It's like the only cycle where the red one is the most expensive. Weird. Anyway, since we are exiling them at the end of turn, we might as well fling them to get some extra damage out of that deal. Now, as far as some mana, we got the Ruby Medallion, Dreamstone Hedron, Fractured Power Stone. I know y'all are seeing the Fractured Power Stone a lot. It's a mana pebble, I guess. It's not really a mana rock because it does bump you one. It does give you the diamond mana there, so that's valuable for several reasons. It's very conditional. Golem's Eye. I'll get a soul ring for it, but I'm out of soul rings, apparently. All of them are index. Conda's Banner, because, you know, red and dragon is a thing. We want to protect our general, of course. Hall of Triumph. Stratascythe is another, you know, Granite Grip. And, you know, Planar Bridge, because Have you met me? Crazy Lands, Nykthos is about the only one. Now, if you're running snow coverage, you're obviously going to be running the Scrying Sheets and the Mouth of Ronan, just because. Now, before we get into the dragons, because the dragons are, I mean, not a lot of them are, they're red dragons. Y'all saw all of the non-dragon cards. Yeah, Dragonstorm. This is not a primary card for the deck. This is not a. It felt right flavor wise to put in here because I mean it's mono red dragons. It's 9 mana. If by some chance a counterspell war happens on your turn, this can be the most beautiful thing ever. A lot of times it's a dead card in your hand. Those are the sacrifices we make for playing for flavor. Okie doke. Let's deal in some dragons. There is a bunch of dragons here. Pretty much my qualifications for creatures for this deck were red and dragon. Or actually, the Hellkite, it didn't have to be red. I didn't choose these based on their abilities. I chose them because they were mono red, they were dragons. Forge Stoker. I mean, some of these are obviously way better than the others. Rhyme Scale. Creatures with ice counters don't untap. This is kind of what led me down the snow-covered route, and then I found out I had a full spread. Balefire, Predator. A Predator is probably not going to devour anything. It's mono red, and you're just going to beat face with it. And the Bogard and Hellkite. And this is, hey now, this is our all-star. I mean, Udvar Hellkite, if you're playing any dragon deck that has red in it, you probably need an Udvar Hellkite in there. I know every one that I have is in use. I don't trade Udvar Hellkites. I would love to see just a mass printing of this Joker in a whatever, but because I need more. We all need more. I mean, the name of our format used to be Elder Dragon Highlander. I mean, in the original rules, you had to play with one of 5 dragons. Anyway, love Udvar Hellkite. See, Crimson Hellkite, that was back in the day when they were, ancient. Now, I had to do Shivan. I'm using this one because it's foil. Part of me wanted to use, like, the original art, but, oh, God, I'd love to see the original art in foil, but I don't even know that it exists. Like Steel Hellkite, this is another one that's really, really good and versatile. I use it in a lot of decks, even decks that aren't dragons, because it does eat some artifacts. Lightning Dragon. Thunderbreak. Covetous. As back in the day, Kai Booty went to I think he went the distance with Covetous Dragon, if I'm not mistaken. Wrathy, Hellkite, Moonvarp. Furyborn is, I mean, the Bloodthirst 6 here is not hard to get, especially if you use Zirin's ability and you have, swung with that creature, and you've got, the 7 mana laying around. Pretty neat. Mordant. I love abilities, and of course we all love choices. We all love multiple abilities. Haste, First Strike, +1. I mean, and it's 4 mana. It's not that bad to begin with. Stormwing Dragon. Each other dragon. Now see, this one here, this might as well say, you have to play me as a barf. Have to, because, it's too awesome not to. And the last card we have is, of course, Glorybringer. Love Glorybringer. He's great, and if you can somehow play him in a deck that grants vigilance, I don't even think that's a thing anymore. But there's enough cards out there from way back that do. That is what I've got for Zirin of the Claw. He's mono red dragons. Not really super competitive, or even a little bit competitive. Just kind of fun. I'll throw it in the box sometimes, take it to the shop if there's a player who just, wants to run out big flying things and turn them sideways. That's what I've got this deck for. It's fun and, checks him off the list. I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, it is time to shuffle and cut.